You have to remember that subscriptions are about delivering more value over time. It's about lifetime value. If you don't do that, customers will churn and you won't be able to recoup the initial investment in the product. Your company is just not going to be as successful. And I think sometimes companies forget this ongoing value. They think about it as an ongoing revenue stream. I don't think they always are trying to understand and then optimize for increasing amounts of value over time. Second, usage-based is also really popular. But as I mentioned in the prior example, you got to really think about whether or not it's value aligned. And I find with tech companies in particular, because we work with a lot of them, that usage-based pricing tends to be a default. And that's because a lot of builders assume that the tech itself is the inherent value. And like I said, once you move into a broader market, an early adopter beyond like an early mainstream and late majority market, that's not really the case. So it's just important to keep in mind and to really validate it with customers. Like for example, if I only need to use your product a couple times a month to be super happy with it, or in the case of let's say tax preparation software, I really only need it once a year or maybe quarterly if I'm a business. So if you charge me for usage-based pricing, I would find that really frustrating. Instead, charging me for the number of filings or some other thing that actually translates and matters to me, it's going to be much more successful and it's going to be lower friction for me as a buyer. Lastly, a lot of companies think about freemium, and as a consumer or a customer, I love it. I think it's a great opportunity to get to try products, but there are a couple things that I don't think people keep in mind. One is, if you are setting up a trial or like a reverse freemium experience, you've got to really, again, understand what your segments are so that you've built that trial appropriately. Or if you're going to have a free version forever, you need to really have done the research to make sure that you're giving enough value to keep that customer interested, but not so much value that there's never a reason to upgrade. You also want to keep in mind that not every user of your product is going to pay you for it. I think a lot of companies get hung up on this. And if they did a segmentation, they would realize there are some segments that are just never going to pay you because they're never going to get enough value.